Today, I am joined by the exceptional JJ, who represents Austria with his incredible track Wasted Love. On the track, JJ serves a masterclass in vocal excellence and is set to be one of the highlights of 2025's Eurovision Song Contest. JJ has kindly devoted some time to me to chat about Wasted Love and preparing for his trip to Basel. So thank you so much, JJ. Sorry, that was probably quite embarrassing.
No, I feel honored. Thank you so much for the kind introduction.
Good, good. Well, it's such an incredible song, and it really is just such a standout of the year. How have you kind of coped with the response?
Oh, it's insane how much positive reactions I've gotten and how much love I've been receiving from the Eurovision fans and from people around the world, which is insane. This is my very first single that came out, and that it was, showcased on such a big platform, and that I've received so much positive feedback is very overwhelming. But I'm really, really grateful and honored that everyone is showing me so much love.
Yeah, and it's well deserved.
Thank you.
What was the selection process like? Did you submit a song, or were you kind of found by the kind of Austrian broadcaster?
So basically, we handed in the song. We applied to audition for Eurovision. The broadcaster had a songwriting camp this year, but I wasn't invited, or I wasn't in their prospect. And then so I wrote the song with Thea, who represented Austria 2 years ago at Eurovision, and so her and I presented my song on a silver platter to them, and they thankfully took the offer. And yeah, then we were invited to a live audition, which was recorded, and that was then presented to music experts from Austria and to the fan clubs, and they all had to give off their votes: 12 points, 10 points, 8 points, and so on. And the person with the most votes gets to represent Austria at Eurovision, and that was me in that case.
Amazing. Well, it's a very emotional song, and I know you've obviously touched on some of the kind of the story behind it. Is it quite a kind of tough thing to write from such an emotional perspective when you're kind of writing that song and then putting it out to the public?
Yeah, it's very, very overwhelming to present my most vulnerable side to the world. Um, but I must say that that makes me feel very happy and very grateful that people are um, seeing themselves in the story that I presented, because it's something that I'm not the only one who went through, and I'm really grateful for yeah, the love. It's insane.
So what kind of emotions do you kind of want your listener to feel when they hear the song?
Yeah, I want them to feel the heartbreak and the all of the emotions that I went through sadness, heartbreak, then going to the realization of that the love that has been put out from my side was too much, and it was just a one-way kind of relationship. And then the rage, of course, when the EDM techno part comes in, the rage and really realizing, hey, I've lost my mind. I should come back to myself. And so I want everyone to feel all the emotions that I went through.
You mentioned that sense of rage with the
Yeah.
EDM, and the fusion of opera and EDM is so distinctive and just so different. And how tough is that as a combination to get right? Because obviously you're fusing two different genres here.
Yeah.
Um, is there part of you that thinks when you're making it, should we add more pop? Should we make it more opera? How do you kind of get that balance right?
I must say it was much easier to combine pop and opera, because a lot of modern pop songs have classical elements, such as, like, I don't know, the violins, or like a full orchestra in the songs, or there are a lot of acoustic versions, or different versions of pop songs that are only full orchestra or strings. So it was easier to combine those two. Coming up with the EDM techno part was insane. So the producer was like, "Hey, we need to have a quick and big switch up, which no one will expect." And so we were like, "Sure, show us something." He said, "What about techno?" Tay and I were like, "Nah, we'll see." Then when we went to the bathroom, he did something real quick, and then when we came back, he showed it to us. We were like, "Wow, this is insane!" And so we kept it in, and then worked on the EDM part, and yeah, that's how it turned out.
And it is so cool. And I'm so glad he did take that time to have a little kind
Yeah,
of a sneaky play about.
yeah, me too.
Um, you've obviously performed on stage a lot in your career. Do you think performing as part of the Vienna State Opera will kind of give you that preparation to kind of
Yeah.
handle the pressure of the Eurovision stage?
So, working and singing on stage at the Vienna State Opera will help me a lot with being professional and strict with myself and being, let's say, very perfect. Like being a perfectionist. Is that a word? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because yeah, in the classical word, you have to be very precise with every single step and every phrase that you sing. And so I think that will help me be more professional on stage. Whereas my The Voice UK and the TV show that I did here in Austria will help me with engaging with the audience. Because in the opera, everyone's silent until you've finished singing the aria. Whereas in the other two platforms that I did, it helped me kind of prepare for how the people will be during a performance because they already start clapping as soon as the first note is sang or like until we go to the chorus. So yeah, I think I have good standing points and foundations from both.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
At the moment, obviously, we've not seen the performance. A
Mhm.
lot of countries have had their national
Yeah.
finals, and we've seen it on stage. You have got the element of surprise, which I guess is really quite powerful also. I
Yeah.
know you can't say too much, but
Yeah.
can you give me like one or two words to describe the staging or the mood of the staging?
Yeah, so it's gonna be very personal and intimate and very storytelling. So we're working with Sergio, who did the staging for Bambi Thug last year for
Wow.
Ireland. And so I'm incredibly grateful that we get to work with him. And yeah, the audience and the crowd will get an insight into my most vulnerable side. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. You mentioned obviously your co-writer Tia.
Yeah.
Have you had any response from any other Eurovision acts, whether that be from Austria or kind of
Yeah.
further around the world?
So I've heard a lot from previous Austrian acts that were sent to Eurovision, everyone being so sweet and kind. And I've also heard from Nemo, who was incredibly surprised and very, very loving towards me and the song. So much love to Nemo and also my fellow contestants this year. So I've heard also from Malta, from Denmark, from Finland, and from Czechia and Germany, the two Austrians for Germany.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've heard from many of them already.
This is obviously a very difficult question to
Yeah.
follow on because, it's like choosing a favorite child, I suppose. Um, have you listened to anyone else in the class of 2025 and who are you drawn to?
I've listened to every song because I've been traveling a lot recently. So I was like, why not listen to the Eurovision playlist so I get to know everyone? Um, I must say, it changes, it varies all the time, but it's stuck between Ich komme, Finland, Hallucinations, Denmark, Serving from Malta, Balla from Germany, and those four are just insane. And of course, Gaia from Justina for Poland. That's
Yeah.
crazy. The fact that she's 52, she doesn't even look like it. That's crazy.
Yeah, it blows my mind, and it's such a
Yeah,
great year. I
yeah,
don't think there is a single track in there that I would skip on a playlist.
right.
They're
Yeah,
all
yeah,
really interesting.
yeah.
Um, Thinking of your incredible voice, when did you realize you could sing like that? Was there a moment where maybe like a family member went, "Oh, wow, this is good."
Yeah, so I've been singing all my life. My parents hosted karaoke parties every weekend, so that was my first, touch with the music world and and pop music and classical music. And then after puberty, after my voice changed, I realized that I still had a high singing voice. So I was like, hey, why not? That would be a cool party trick if I started singing like a soprano. And then, because I loved imitating voices and sounds. And so then I realized, hey, that works well. And my grandma and my music teacher from school were like, you're a countertenor. You have to look into that. So then I looked into it and I was like, wow, that's so cool. and it was so fitting, and it was so fun to, surprise people with how I sing, that I was like, wait, I think I have to make this my profession.
Yeah, absolutely. So you have kind of experimented with, obviously this is your first single, and we've kind of got the fusion of pop and opera. Going forward, I know you're probably really like laser focused on Eurovision just now,
Yeah.
but have you thought about kind of future recordings? Would you like to kind of still navigate these two worlds?
Yeah. So I already, with Taya and Thomas, the producer, we already wrote another single that we're thinking of if it should be the next single or if it should just be on an EP. And then I'll be traveling to Berlin to meet the two of them again in a month to work on future stuff, so that we can release it soon after Eurovision, so that, the fans will not stay hungry, so that they have something to feed on, and to go with the hype.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, JJ. I know you have got a lot of interviews, so I don't want to take up
Yeah,
too much of your time.
that's fine.
Um, I am so excited to see the live performance, and I know it's going to be incredible. So good luck to you, and yeah, thanks again.
Thank you so, so much. Thank